Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about Pierre Rodriguez versus Josephine Knutson. Pierre Rodriguez 9-2, 3-2 in her last 5 fights, plus 185 favorite or underdog. Sorry, 32 years old, 5'3" with a 63.5-inch reach. Josephine 8-0, minus 225 favorite, 28 years old, 5'3" with a 60-inch reach. 3.5-inch reach advantage for Pierre Rodriguez. The thing I really like about Knutson in this fight is I really like her striking. I think her volume is very significant in this division. Now, I like Pierre Rodriguez, but the problem I have with her in this fight is if she doesn't get a finish on the ground, I don't think she wins this. I think she has pretty decent grappling. Like I said, she's on a 2-fight losing streak. Disqualification against Ariana Carnelosi and intentional headbutts. Very weird situation there. And then an armbar by Jillian Robertson. She lost too. She beat Sam Hughes, Kay Hansen, and Valeska Machado. Okay. But yeah, I really like Josephine Knutson in this one. I just think her volume and her distance control is very good. I do think we'll see Rodriguez getting takedowns, but I think it'll be too late in the round, or too early. I just don't think it'll be enough time for her to win enough rounds to win the fight. So I like Knutson probably by decision. If there's a finish, it'll be by Rodriguez. So next, we're going to do a full card today. I just don't have enough time to do individual ones. So Pierre Rodriguez, Josephine Knutson. I think Knutson wins. Next, we got Davy Grant versus Ramon Tavares. Davy Grant 13-7, 2-3 in his last 5 fights, plus 120, basically an even. 38 years old, 5'8" with a 69-inch reach. Fighting Ramon Tavares, who's 10-2, 4-1 in his last 5 fights, minus 145 favorite, 5'8" with a 70-inch reach. Same height, but a 1-inch reach for Ramon Tavares. Watch out for his weight. The fight could be canceled because he missed his weight. He missed it by 3 pounds. Oh, Jesus, no. Yeah, 3 pounds because they give you an extra at 136, so 3 pounds. Yeah. So the big thing I see in this fight is very good boxing by Ramon Tavares, but a really good countering ability and really good power in the exchanges with Davy Grant. I think Tavares is probably the better boxer, but his chin's weird. He gets dropped quite a bit in his fights. If you watch him, he gets rocked quite a bit. Just the style he plays, just the game he plays. It's hard because Tavares has had 2 fights with Surdy City, really good fights. But the way City kind of throws reminds me a little bit of Davy Grant. The issues that Ramon Tavares had with him, with that length, even though Ramon Tavares has a reach advantage, the way that Davy Grant throws, he throws a lot longer than he actually is. He throws a big looping. I mean, he knocked out Jonathan Martinez. Nobody does that. So I just think it's that type of stuff in close, but as Ramon Tavares is getting tired and exits because he does get tired, that's when I think Davy Grant will land and win this fight. So I have Davy Grant winning this fight. Next, we have a Miranda Maverick versus Jamie Lynn Horth. Jamie Lynn Horth coming off of a very good victory off of Ivana Petrovic by split decision. I do not think that fight was a split decision. I thought she won the second, the third round decisively. Lost the first round, though. Or wait, no. Jamie Lynn Horth. Never mind. I'm thinking of the girl that fought... what's her name? She got suspended for PEDs. Older lady. Looked good in the first and lost the second and the third round. Pena? No, not Pena. Goodness. Fought Joanna Jacek. I don't know. If you guys know what I'm talking about, put it down in the comment section. I can't remember her name now. But Miranda Maverick versus Jamie Lynn Horth. Let me make sure I'm good here. Yeah. Miranda Maverick 14-5, 4-1 in their last 5 fights. Minus a 350 favorite. 27 years old, 5'3", with a 65.5-inch reach. Fighting Jamie Lynn Horth, who's 7-1, 4-1 as well in her last 5 fights. Lost to Veronica Hardy by split decision. Got back on track against Ivana Petrovic by split. Plus 275 underdog. 34 years old, 5'7", with a 66-inch reach, 4-inch in height with a half-inch reach. The thing that I really, really like about Miranda Maverick, in fights she's winning, she looks very well-rounded. The issues she has when she loses is she looks very one-dimensional. Like Jasmine Jasavacious, she was able to close the distance, make it dirty, make it ugly, and take her down, beat her up. I don't think Jamie Lynn Horth is going to be able to do that. Do I think she'll be able to make it ugly on the feet? Sure. But Maverick has gotten way better with like her side kicks, her push kicks, stuff like that to make the fight a little bit different than it probably would have been a couple fights ago. But I just like Miranda Maverick at this point. I think she has really good striking, especially against Jamie Lynn Horth. I think her takedown's going to be there all night. So I like Miranda Maverick in this matchup. Next, we got Miles Johns versus Felipe Lima, Jungle Boy. This fight is awesome. Miles Johns, 15-2, 3-1-0-1, 30 years old, 5'7", with a 66-inch reach. Fighting Felipe Lima, who's 13-1, 26 years old, 5'6", with a 68-inch reach, 1 inch in height for Miles Johns, with a 2-inch reach for Felipe Jungle Boy Lima. So the interesting thing about this matchup is, Felipe Lima looked good in the first round in his last fight, which was Mohamed Naima. He looked good in the first round. Didn't look very good in the second round. Got really, really tired. Slowed down a ton. Got back on track in the third. Again, didn't do a whole lot until the finish in the third round, but still got the finish. The thing I'm curious about is, how does he fight Miles Johns? Because Johns has really good takedown defense, really good striking defense. Now, he has been submitted before, which was a no contest. No, not Dan Argetta, but I think it was... I think it was a while ago. Let me see real quick. I'm trying to remember now. Dan Argetta... Was it not? Oh, no. Yeah, John Castaneda arm triangled him in the third round. Yeah, and then Mauro Batista finished him with a flying knee. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know. I think early on, Felipe Lima's going to have a really, really hard time dealing with the strength of Miles Johns. So, I think early, like I said, we'll see Felipe be a little bit more patient, probably working the body a little bit, working the legs a little bit. It's hard because I think Miles Johns hits harder, probably a little bit, probably a little bit more. Yeah, he probably hits harder, obviously, but wings his punches. Felipe Lima is definitely more of a tactician, I would say. God, I have this fucking bright spot. Hold on. Should be a little bit better. Fucking bright on my face. But I like Felipe Lima. I think he wins later in the fight. But yeah. Definitely think he wins later on. Early's going to be rough though. Next we have Sean Woodson versus Felipe Padilla. Yeah. Sean Woodson 12-1-1. Minus 175 favorite. 6'2" with a 78-inch reach. For Fernando Padilla, 16-5, 4-1 his last 5 fights, plus 145 favorite, 27 years old, 6'1" with a 76-inch reach, 2-inch reach and a 1-inch in height for Sean Woodson, the sniper. The thing that Sean Woodson has done in these last 3 fights since his draw with Luis Saldana, who should not have been a draw, is, Dennis looked very good, volume, clinching looked good. Charles Jourdain won that fight. I did not think it was a split decision. And Alex Caceres made that much closer. There's actually an argument that Caceres came back and won the second and the third round, which is wild to say. But Sean Woodson's just done really, really good of mixing everything up, put everything together. The one thing that could be an issue for him in this matchup is for Fernando Padilla's power, because he's not going to be afraid to strike with Woodson, and he's going to have to strike with him in order to win this matchup. He can't wait. He can't wait for him to get tired, because Woodson's a very, very good boxer. So you're going to have to do what Luis Saldana did and try catching him at the end of exchanges. So I like Fernando Padilla probably by finish. His one loss is Kyle Nelson, which is very weird. Got back on track against Luis Paulo, something like that. Darce Choke, he beat him up, man, in his debut, in that guy's debut fight. So yeah, I like Fernando Padilla to win this matchup. Next, we have Jakar Close versus Yoel Alvarez. This card is wild. Just wild. Jakar Close 15-2-1, 4-1 his last 5 fights. His last loss was Benil Dariush almost 5 years ago. 4 fights since then. Plus 265 underdog, 36 years old, 5'9" with a 70-inch reach. Fighting Joel Alvarez, who's 21-3, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. The last loss was against Arman Sayukian, and then beat Mark DeCasey, which was a headbutt. Then Darce, very weird situation. Elvis Brenner, he destroyed. Minus 340 favorite. I love that he's getting right back in there. I love that he's just jumping right back into the fire. 6'3 with 77-inch reach. What is that? 5 inches in height with a 7-inch reach advantage for Joel Alvarez. The one thing I do like about Jakar Close in this matchup is his ability to consistently push forward. Now, after watching the Joaquin Silva against Jakar Close, I think Joel Alvarez beats up Jakar Close. I don't think this fight's necessarily that close. I think Close's toughness will keep him in it a little bit longer than he probably should be, but I don't think Jakar Close survives 2 rounds. I think Joel Alvarez, he's him. He's that guy. He is that guy. He is a monster. Unbelievable. Next, we got Michael Johnson versus Atman Azardar. Michael Johnson, 22 wins, 19 losses, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Make sure I'm on the thing. Yes, I am. Minus 185 favorite, 38 years old, 5'10 with a 73.5-inch reach. Atman Azardar, 13-2, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, 2-5 losing streak, plus 155 underdog, 5'8 with a 71-inch reach, 2 inches in height for Michael Johnson with a 2.5-inch reach for Michael Johnson. This one's tough. This one is tough. Michael Johnson, being 38 years old, is already tough as it is to hear. God. So, Atman Azardar has been finished in his last 2 fights. Obviously, the layoff, because he was 13-0 before then, the layoff hurt him a ton, obviously. The problem with that is, how does he come back in this? The issue I have with this is Michael Johnson, even though he's 3-2 in his last 5 fights, he lost a split against Damon Malarkey, which I thought Michael Johnson won. Then he fought Diego Fierro, 2 fights later and got finished. Won the first and then got finished. Came back and beat Darius Flowers, mixed in everything. The problem is I don't think he's going to be able to mix in his wrestling and all that stuff to keep the fight more well-rounded than him just striking. The problem is I don't know the shots that Michael Johnson can take from Atman. I'm confident that Johnson can get to him first, but Atman does have power, and I'm worried that he catches Michael Johnson and finishes him. And unfortunately, that's what I think happens. I think Atman Azardar counters Johnson with Johnson coming forward and finishes him. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping I'm wrong. But yeah, I think Atman wins. And then next we got Navajo Sterling versus Tuco Tokis. Jesus. Navajo Sterling 5-0, minus 500 favorite, 27 years old, 6'4" with 82.7-inch reach. Turco 10-4, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Last loss was Omar Sy, plus 380 underdog, 6'4" with a 76-inch reach. 6.7-inch reach advantage for Navajo Sterling with same height. I am not sold on Navajo Sterling. I could easily see this fight being like Navajo Sterling's beating him up, he's getting tired. And then Turco comes back. It's all about can Turco survive the onslaught. Because I think Sterling lights him up early. Can he survive it? I don't think so. But I think this fight could get much weirder and much closer than people want to hear. That's the reality. Now, Navajo Sterling, again, I'm not sold. I don't think he's next, great fighter in this division or up-and-coming prospect to watch out for. He did not look good in this last fight. I'm sorry. I don't care that it was a finish. Just didn't. He fought a guy that was not even on his level, and he made him on his level. Very weird. That being said, I do think he wins early. If it goes past the over, we're gonna have problems. But I do think he wins. Next, we have Daniel Marcos versus Adrian Yanez. Daniel Marcos 16-0, 4-1, 4-0-1 versus Adrian Yanez, who's 17-5, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. The last win was Vincius Salvador. Weirdest matchup I've ever seen. Made absolutely no sense. I don't care on the issues that Yanez has had. Doesn't make no sense. Minus 175 favorite, 31 years old, 5'7" with a 69-inch reach. Fighting Adrian Yanez, who's 17-5, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, plus 145 underdog. Decent. 5'7" with a 70-inch reach. I think Adrian Yanez comes out like a madman. If you watched Marcos' last fight against John Castaneda, later in that fight, he hurt Marcos really bad in the 3rd round. Now, he looked really, really good early on, but I think Yanez's boxing, his power, his awkward angles when he's striking, I think Yanez is going to light Marcos up in the 2nd and the 3rd round. I think that 1st round we're going to see Marcos clinching, putting him against the cage, awkward striking, kicks. But I think Yanez, once he figures out that timing, I think Yanez is going to light him up like a goddamn Christmas tree. Gotta be honest. And I think this because of the John Castaneda fight. So, yeah. Next, we got Dustin Jacoby versus Vitor Petrino. Dustin Jacoby, 19-9-1. He's 1-4 in his last 5 fights. Plus 225 underdog, 36 years old. 6'3" with a 76-inch reach. Fighting Vitor Petrino, who's 11-1. 4-1 in his last 5 fights. His last loss was Anthony Smith. Garbage. Minus 280 favorite. 6'2" to 77.5-inch reach. Half-inch reach advantage for Dustin Jacoby with a 1 height as well. Well, so he got finished 6 months ago. Don't think that's enough time to come back. I get you want to come back and get it back. I get it. It's not good. So the thing that could help Jacoby is his ability to, when he's on, strike while moving back. So, but he's going to have to do that for 3 rounds. The problem with that is I think Petrino hits, for one, I think he hits really hard. He's going to have Petrino guessing. 2, I think Petrino's going to get takedowns. I just think he's going to, even if it's, 2. He has good submissions as well. The thing that I could see happening is Petrino freezing because Jacoby's constantly moving, constantly throwing that jab out there. Again, though, against the cage is where I think Petrino wins. Dominic Reyes hurt Jacoby as Dominic Reyes was against the fence as Jacoby was coming in. He hurt him. And then finished him against the cage. Alonzo Monafield hurt him against the cage. I think Vitor Petrino wins this fight. Probably by decision. Next, we got Manel Kape versus Bruno Silva on the main card. Manel Kape 19-7, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Lost his last one against Makayev, which very weird. 280 favorite. 31 years old, 5'5", with a 68-inch reach. Make sure we're good here. Yep. And then Bruno Silva, 14-5-2, 4-1 his last 5 fights. His last loss was Tager Ulanbekov 4 years ago. Plus 230 underdog, 34 years old, 5'4" with a 66-inch reach, 2 inches in reach for a cop with a 1-inch height advantage for cop. So Manel Cop, the biggest difference I think is like Cody Durden was light Bruno Silva up on the feet, and Cody Durden's tendencies is what got him finished in that matchup. So the thing that I like about Manel Cop is he mixes in his strikes. Big flying knees, which can knock you out. Big uppercuts, big hooks that can knock you out. He also has good takedowns. I would say Bruno Silva is the better grappler. I would say that. I think we're going to see mainly a striking battle. So I just think if Manel Cop throws and hits Bruno, he'll finish him before Bruno finishes Cop. And I don't think he has the reach advantage to make it weird like Dos Santos did a couple fights ago, a year and 2 months ago. I think Manel Cop, probably by finish, gets the win. Next, we have Cub Swanson versus Billy Q. Cub Swanson, 29 wins, 14 losses. He's 2-3 in his last 5 fights, plus 135 underdog. 41 years old with a 70-inch reach, fighting Billy Q, who's 18-6, 2-3 as well in his last 5 fights. Minus 160, 36 years old. Holy crap. 5'10 with a 70-inch reach, 2 inches in height for Billy Q. The biggest thing with this one is, for one, I don't think Cub Swanson has that dogfight in him anymore. I just think he's, like I said, he's 41. He hasn't looked good in his losses. The Andre Fili, they're being nice, saying it's a split. I thought he'd beat Hakeem Dawodu, but it's close. Jonathan Martinez finished him with leg kicks when he went down a weight class. He beat Darren Elkins when he looked really good in that matchup, but he should, because he's more athletic than Darren Elkins. The problem with this one is if he can't hurt Billy Q early and get Billy Q out of there, I think Billy Q's pressure, pace, and volume really beats up Cub Swanson. I don't think he hits like Edson Barboza. I don't think, like I said, he can make this fight crazy and ugly to land those nasty shots that he used to be able to land. I just think Billy Q kind of beats him up as this fight goes. At first, it's going to be like, okay, Cub looks good. And as Cub gets tired, we're going to see Billy Q turn it up. So I have Billy Q winning this matchup. Next, we got the main event, Colby Covington versus Joaquin Buckley. Colby Covington 17-4, 2-3 in his last 5 fights, plus 205 underdog at 36 years old, 5'11 with a 72-inch reach, fighting Joaquin Buckley, 20 wins, 6 losses. He's on a nice, decent win streak too, minus 250 favorite, 30 years old, 5'10 with a 76-inch reach, 1 inch in height for Covington with a 4-inch reach for Buckley. This one's interesting because you have Colby Covington, who's going to want to pressure Joaquin Buckley, try to grapple with him. The problem with that is Buckley has good takedown defense, very, very good takedown defense. He hits like a mule. He hits super hard. I mean, he just knocked out Wonderboy after Wonderboy was beating him up for 2 rounds. Colby, pressure, output, dirty boxing, wrestling. Problem with that is you can't get hit very many times by Buckley. Pressure is only going to help Buckley. Wrestling, you're not taking down Buckley. Maybe against the cage he could have some success. I'll give him that. But I just think in a 5-round fight, Buckley has he's very good defensively as well. This is not one of those fights where I'm like, okay, Buckley, he could, challenge for a title. This is a great matchup for Joaquin Buckley. That's what this is. So Buckley hits hard. I just think Colby Covington gets finished probably the 3rd or the 4th round. I just think Buckley finds that shot against the cage, just like he did against Wonderboy. If you can find a Wonderboy, you can find Colby Covington too. So even if Colby's going to try to strike with Buckley, I think Buckley beats him up, and we get to see Colby Covington finally retire. But as always, guys, subscribe, like, comment. Wanted to address my absence for about 5 days. My mom passed away, so that's why I haven't been around. I don't necessarily know if I am back 100%. Still some stuff we got to deal with. But I will be there Saturday. And I'm going, once I am fully back, you guys know how it is. I'm going to be live all the time. I'm going to be live every day. We're going to build it back up because I know channel's hurting now. We're going to build it up. And I hope you guys just understand this, why it's been a little bit slow. That's why I had to do a full card breakdown. Just didn't have the time. But yeah, appreciate you guys. Subscribe, like, comment. Let me know who you're picking. Peace.